Hello everyone, welcome to another show of Relentless Reviews. I am your host as always, Joshua Englander, and today I am reviewing one of the most anticipated games I have played in years, Mass Effect 3. That's right, I am reviewing it today. So, did gameplay additions like melee attacks really pay off in the gameplay mechanics? Was the story as epic as its predecessors? Did the addition of multiplayer help or hurt the game's value? Did this finale to an epic video game trilogy put the Mass Effect series among the greatest sci-fi fantasy stories ever told? Well, let's check out the trailer.
There's a lot of people back on Earth dying while we gather our strength. They're wondering if we're ever coming back. Friends, family, parents and children. This isn't their fight. But they're buying us time with their lives.
We need to stand together. The Reapers won't stop at Earth. They'll destroy every organic being in the galaxy if we don't find a way to stop them.
Go out there and give them hell. You were born to do this.
Build alliances. Gather everything and everybody you can.
Don't interfere with my plan, Shepard. I won't warn you again.
Go to hell. Each of you needs to be willing to die. Anything less, and you're already dead.
Shepard, we got Reaper signatures in orbit.
Hurry! We're taking fire!
This is it, isn't it?
Alright, so one of the things I must say I really was impressed about with this game to start off were the graphics. They looked beautiful, and this is a game that is still running on the same engine as Mass Effect 2. And because that game, Mass Effect 2, is now about 2 years old, so that engine is about 2 years old, yet the game is still one of the best looking games I've ever seen. It's not the exact same graphics. I mean, there are some improvements, like you notice that the lighting's a lot better, lighting reflections in particular are a lot better, but for the most part the game still looks beautiful, and I think that that goes to show how good Mass Effect 2 really looked, because the fact that you can still take a 2-year-old engine and make it look one of the best looking games on the next following game, that is extremely impressive. I really was impressed that BioWare was able to pull that off, barely improving the graphics engine and still really making it easy to play the game, first of all. Also, the gameplay improvements like melee attacks really do pay off in a big way. I mean, melee attacks in Mass Effect 2, when you didn't have melee attacks in Mass Effect 2, and because of that I felt sometimes the shooting got a little clunky, but because the gameplay now has melee attacks, it makes it a lot more fluid. So in the third-person cover shooter, when you have that ability to go up the middle and maybe attack someone using a melee attack, I think that works really well, and I think that it was great that they were able to put that in. Let's say you're out of ammo with weapons, now you do at least have another option to kill the bad guys. So, I mean, is it the best melee system ever? No, but it really, really works in Mass Effect 3, and that really impressed me. I mean, there are other gameplay mechanics. The third-person covering is a little bit better. It's still a little bit clunky, but for the most part, it still works extremely, extremely well. And of course, probably the biggest plus is definitely the story. I mean, if you are a story person as a gamer, you have to buy this game. This is the best video game story I've played in such a long time. I mean, you can sit, and even though the story is kind of cliched in some aspects, I mean, the characters are what make it so amazing. The voice acting in these characters and their personal stories are what make the story in general so incredible to play through. And also, one of the surprising things was the multiplayer. I actually found it quite enjoyable, and it's not even the biggest plus for this game. I mean, it's almost like a bonus, really, and it can affect your single-player story as well. If you're someone who it doesn't really know that, you got to be aware of that. But you know, it really is fun to play. You can upgrade your character, rank him up and everything. That's all there. And the multiplayer in general with the Mass Effect gameplay, it's a lot of fun to play with other people online, and I really, really enjoyed that. I was surprised by that. Good job, BioWare, for that. So the only, and this is a slight negative, is that the frame rate slows down at times, sometimes freezes. I've had a couple of times where the game froze on me, and that was kind of frustrating. Also, the lip syncing's off a little bit. But this is like technical little issues that I can forgive because BioWare only had about 2 years to develop the sequel to Mass Effect 2, and honestly, they just did a brilliant job overall. So, overall, I mean, let's face it, I think Mass Effect 3, in all honesty, is the best console game of this generation. And I know people will probably disagree with me. Comment below and tell me, is this the best console game you've ever played? But it does deserve a perfect 10. There's no question about that. I mean, on top of the fact that I think it's the best console game of this generation, you consider all the amazing things Mass Effect 3 pulled off. It's got the voice acting, it's got the characters, it's got the story, it's got the gameplay, it's got the multiplayer, it's got all those things. All the main core things are what make a video game great. Mass Effect 3 pulls off big time, and I love this game. I'm going to continue playing through it so many countless times. I just love it so much. If you haven't played the Mass Effect trilogy, what are you waiting for? Go out and buy it, and you will enjoy it. It's like Star Trek. It's like Star Wars. It's those brilliant sci-fi fantasy stories that just go out there, and it's such an enjoyable experience because of all the things it incorporates. So, Mass Effect, the trilogy itself, definitely the best sci-fi fantasy video game trilogy I have ever played. Thank you, BioWare, for such an incredible job. So, that's another show of Relentless Reviews. Remember to follow me on Twitter. Remember to subscribe, like the video, favorite it if you enjoyed the review. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.